animation, like I said before, animation is a time-consuming process, and sometimes we do come across like these issues where like sometimes things don't pan out so well, and other times they'll be like absolutely faultless, I should say. And so, yeah.
Well, Flash is a very, very popular programming effect. One of the reasons why it's very dirty as a reason, it's very, very easy to crack or to get the trial to try the software. Which is not something I recommend, but I cannot really go and tell everybody to not do that.
I know that a lot of shows, when Flash animation came out, when Flash animation barely came out, a lot of shows ended up taking that, using the program instead of the program they did had, and the quality of their shows like drastically dropped.
Yeah, well, actually, basically, Flash was one of the first animation software for consumer desktops. Before that, what they either used was some compositing software, and they did all of that on paper. And back then, on paper, it was very, very, very easy to get started because, well, it's very easy in Flash. Right? It was hard. You had to plan everything ahead and to know what you had to do. With Flash, the problem is that you can take a child, give him Flash, and you can get something started with it. So the standards lowered a lot just with Flash animation, but then of course the studios realized we can make cartoons even cheaper because we don't have to pay for the paper, the cells, the people to ink. So we can tell stories with a lot less resources, but the problem is that people thought we can use puppets to just have the character always stay on model. He says his line of dialogue that is just, well, if it's a comedy show, you can just deliver the exposition. You can reuse backgrounds all the time. Since it's vector, you can just crop in a bigger background just to get the context you want. So you don't have to worry anymore about making the background for the shot. So because, for example, MLP is really good at reusing assets. What is the difference though between MLP and a lot of other shows? We're good at recontextualizing by adding a lot more work. For example, MLP might reuse some assets for the crowds, but we set them up differently. For scenery, for example, we might reuse the same background, but take for example Large Cottage. Between season 1 and season 4, they might have reused the first background, but they improved it drastically. Just so, for example, they could crop to a bit smaller parts to have a lot more detail. So it's true that it set the bar a lot lower, but it's a problem with the industry, not just the fact that.
And plus, there's a huge difference between TV animation and movie animation. Well, and internet animation, of course. And so, yeah, and if you really think about it, try not to be too harsh when seeing like an animation that you're not a fan of, because after all, animation, like I said before, animation is a time-consuming process and it's really hard. A lot of people put like a lot of effort into it. I mean, you can like see like a certain show and be like, oh, that animation really stinks, I'm not a fan of it. Don't be like too harsh on them. I'm sure they took like a time and effort just to make it the best they can. Though there might be like some exceptions. Like honestly, I'm not that big a fan of like TV CGI shows. Like a good example would have to be like some of the stuff that Nickelodeon has produced in recent years. Now, I mean, I'll give the animators credit for trying, but still, I'm just not that fan of like that style per se, or like how the character move.
Well, for example, for TV animation in the movie industry and the TV industry, for example, if you have basically you have to model the character in the TV show to just fit within everything that you have in context. You cannot just start building a movie and expect, I'm going to have this character because it's very important to that part of the plot, and for example, design him around, for example, the environment, or design around what you know he's going to do. You have to design him for everything, so it becomes more like a video game model that you can do everything. For example, the look, lots of CG shows, since they don't have a lot of rendering time, because basically, for example, at Pixar, it takes about 24 hours for just one computer to render a frame. For example, so for that, you'll have like, I think 24,000 computers in the server just rendering those things. because they do they basically send photons, well, digital ones in the direction that they should be. Then they take a probabilistic approach when it hits the surface. For example, just for example, the randomness and the what properties the material has. For example, it's very matte. It's going to send the light in all the directions. It's very shiny. It's going to send it in one direction. So you take that approach and you have just to make something realistic and just have physically, well, the thing that is physical representation. You go in for cartoons or TV. They cannot afford that. They can maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to interrupt. One of my questions was, have you ever been limited by, the legal side of things for releasing content? I mean, I don't want to get into a big discussion about it, but with YouTube, I know it can be very difficult, especially with Hasbro things, to release new content. So I was just curious.
There's basically two things you gotta worry about when it comes to that stuff. Try not to make the animation too close, similar to the show, and be cautious what music you use for the videos.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, like one of the main issues I heard was for certain projects getting caught was that they were using show assets. But if you make the assets yourself and you make it distinct enough to where it can be its own thing or somewhat of a parody or satirical piece from the original, would that be much more safer to go than full-on like Jan animations?
Yeah, I think so, because the stuff I use, like, you know that the character designs are like close to like the original designs, but it's more have like that cut-out style animation that they won't really bother with it. And plus, it's still like a parody video.
Yeah.
Because with like you mentioned about Jan animations, his stuff is like, in my opinion, I love his work.
Yeah.
He did a really great job with his animations, but I think it was too similar to enough that
fans mistook it for the real thing.
Exactly. And the main reason why they had to take those down is because he used Sweetie Belle for those videos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not because of the video itself, it's just because of the use of Sweetie Belle.
And well, Hasbro it takes a lot of care about their intellectual property. They don't want someone to ruin it for them by basically doing something they will never approve. For Jan, they were just scared because since he was on his own, he could do whatever he wanted. And since it was very popular on YouTube, he could.
Exactly. That's another thing too. If it's really popular, then they'll definitely keep an eye on that.
For example, Fighting is Magic, even though the video game just had cartoon violence that was basically close to the cartoon violence that we see in the show. Taking just the scene where you have Rarity just kicking Applejack in The Return of Harmony Part 2.
They don't care if it's not profitable. If it's similar in any way, they'll still flag it down as hard as possible.
Pretty much. And it's sad to say because those people took a lot of time and effort just to make like a video game and all that stuff. And it's really sad that it has been taken down. Which I was very curious to try that out because I would definitely love to see how that plays out. Especially if I want to play as like Fluttershy kicking the crap out of like Twilight or something. See how well that turns out.
I beat you quick today with Fluttershy. It was great. Awesome.
I bet. Did you have a little what's that?
I drew you with pretty flowing hair and wings.
Oh, fabulous.
You do. You need to learn how to animate with the flowing hair now so you can do that. You can animate you.
I see now you're putting pressure on me.
Well, you can just borrow my rig for Luna with the floating makeup.
You guys problem solved.
I guess I could, but I'm not sure how well it would work. Will it work for Adobe Premiere?
I can just send you a file that works for Adobe Premiere.
Someday.
Okay.
Because I'm good for now.
And then they'll flag your video.
I'm not a jerk. Yet.
Today.
Hey, so backtracking just a little bit. I mean, probably everybody here knows this because you all are from here and everything. But what's so special about Sweetie Belle? I mean,
She has that squeaky voice.
well, I know. I think
They
she's
make
great.
toys of her.
But why? You said that videos got taken down because she's.
I guess she just appeared.
Well,
Just
basically,
appears.
we say Sweetie Belle, but the thing is that he basically does an animation about Sweetie Belle and Button Match, and that's pretty much it.
The only only new character to create
So-
for the video is Bun's mom.
Yeah. And well, I mean, her design is really, really good. But I mean, out of the three, the only one that actually got the filter from Hasbro was Sweetie Belle. They didn't care about Button Mash because they don't really do anything with him.
Nobody cares about background characters. Well,
Except Derpy.
except for Derpy and Vinyl and Dr. Hooves and
Octavia.
And Myra.
And then the star.
Applejack, calm down.
It's a good cereal,
And I mean, I guess that's about good cereal.
but any tips for any aspiring animators?
Okay, so basically the one thing I've been saying to a lot of animators, you have to learn how to learn. Basically just the idea that you start with a piece of software. There's a lot of people who just go and turn to me and they say, how the hell do I learn how to use Flash? And I almost just want to say, just do it. And I cannot just go and tell people, learn, go find tutorials in Flash to how to work with a puppet, because there's not a lot, and it's very specific. You have to know first of all what you need, what you intend to do. For example, in Flash, MLP, you need to build a rig. You need to figure out what are your tools, what you need to do, and how you need to do that. For example, just with making a puppet rig, I just took screenshots from the show, I put them on the layer, just took a layer above. I went with the line tool and just started making lines just to build the shapes of the puppet. And basically that's how we get started making puppets.
Right. For me personally, I tend to look back at because I'm a huge fan of slapstick comedy when it comes to the older stuff like the Three Stooges, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. And what I tend to do, I'll go back and rewatch all of them, some episodes that I personally like, just get an idea how they get their comedy down. And I won't direct steal jokes from them. I'll take influence to know what they do and what I can do that's similar to that in a way. Because let me just say this, there is a difference between influence and just plain out ripping off. And I'm going to be completely honest here, my least favorite type of videos when it comes to the fandom is if somebody were to take a video and ponify it, but without making any changes to it. I don't want to give out any good examples, but it seems let's say you see this one video that's really funny, and that person decides to take it, use the same dialogue, but just have a pony character doing that, and that's basically it. And to me, I'm not really that big a fan of it because that's not being original. That's just basically just taking somebody's idea. And that's another thing too. If you want to be an animator, it's best to be original. You don't, because I know it's not really easy to be like that because there's everything's pretty much been done before. But once you get there, it'll definitely help you stand out more because you know how many times I lost track how many times I see a nostalgia critic wannabe or AVGN wannabe, and I feel with those people they're just imitating, not taking influence by those creators.
So I'm just wondering, so Adobe went from doing regular software to subscription-based software, so now they're doing Creative Cloud, so they have the Creative Cloud Professional that includes all the pieces. Because you mentioned Adobe Flash, but Adobe is called Animate now, so are you using an older version? Because Flash is now part of the Creative Cloud suite.
Oh, basically I just upgraded to the Creative Cloud. I need help, I got to get a few new features. The only thing I really lost out of Creative Cloud is the 32-bit compatibility. Basically, I cannot run Flash on some older computers I used to work with. It's not that big of a deal for me nowadays, but basically that's that. The evolution of that model means that I have to pay every month for that. But with the cost of the software and the cost it would take me to upgrade it once in a while when I figure there's a new feature, I think the subscription-based model works a lot better for me as a small creator. For example, for studios, for DHX, they would need to pay a lot because they probably paid $2,000 just once for all the computers. They run a very old version of Flash to animate, and it's pretty fine. They I think there's like 2 features that are actually useful for me that they don't have, and that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of the videos that I've really been drawn to are ones that have been used by this thing called SFM, Source Filmmaker.
Source Maker is basically creation from Valve. Basically, they realized that a lot of people were trying to animate using Gmod. Since Gmod pretty much allowed you to do everything, they did their own movies with that. So they started building, started using their video game engine and just using it as a way to create animations. It's definitely, you can just do 3D with that. There's some flaws that I find personally, since I try to, for example, the lighting model that they use is really focused on video games. So it's not physically based, like, so for example, just one thing that I've noticed in video games, the sharpness of the shadow of an object will stay constant. For example, if I put an object like that casts a shadow right there, the shadow, the line of the shadow is going to get blurrier with the distance. But in video games, there is no such thing as that. The bouncing light doesn't behave the same way. But it takes a lot less time to actually do those renderings instead of taking those 24 hours. It's definitely a tool. I'm not personally a big fan of SFM. I mean, I like the ones I've seen, but I don't want to work with SFM because it's not really meant for me.
Yeah, same here.
But if you're gonna go and do SFM, do it. If you want to do that, I'll respect you a lot. Just because you do it.
Mr. Shalabov Media here.
Just do it!
It's been like 2 years now.
Yeah, sorry, that joke's old.
Well, BronyCon 2015 was a mess just because of that. There was so many people just going with the Do It meme. I just took a clip from Good Morning Baltimore and just placed a guy screaming Do It to distract people.
Thanks a lot, Stevens. But yeah, like he said, like I appreciate SFM as well, but I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. It just seems like I'm not very used to like CGI stuff. I'm more of just like the traditional animation guy.
But you like Rapunzel.
Yeah, that's true. I do like Rapunzel. I like some CGI stuff, but I'm mostly just a 2D guy.
We all know this current situation that YouTube is going through at the moment because of the whole boycott and everything. If you start out as an animator and start posting your work and everything, but now you face the issue of either getting flagged from the company itself or from a troll who you can't respond to, otherwise you'll be giving them your private information, and they'll just constantly do whatever they want with it. What other medias or something or sources would you suggest to upload your animation if YouTube isn't the place to continue, or something's preventing you from continuing it on YouTube?
Probably the only solution I can think of is, would Dailymotion be the best solution?
Vid.me, actually. There's also Dailymotion. I have a Vid.me that I use basically as a mirror, so if I get taken down from YouTube, I know that my fans are going to be able to go back to that as a resource. But the problem with Vid.me is that you cannot bring a lot of people. There's not a lot of fans of content that go on Vid.me for their content, so they're going to go on YouTube. So
yeah, YouTube's like the biggest video source out there.
And yeah, there's the copyright trolls. I haven't really had to deal with that. I think I just had one claim from Hasbro. Basically, I did a panel at Geek Convention about MLP, and they basically flagged my entire video because they said that they can't take content from MLP. And all it had was just one still on a projector and a very, very, very awkward angle. You could barely see anything on the video. We were just talking about the show. And we were season 4, so...
Yeah, that's the wrong way for them to do that.
Yeah.
If it's like something that's small or not important, then...
But it was an automated claim. There's ways to actually spot if it's automated or not. What I recommend is just fight the claim. And yeah, there's people who do those claims to get to your private information. There's no real answer to that. I could always just say just fake it, but you could always get your channel terminated just because of that. It's a constant fight. So, and of course, there's YouTube is really, really good at being called out on their bullshit. Sorry. Basically, when you call them out on a very, very public way, where it gets a lot of traction, gets fixed very soon. Thinking of the Ronnie Dance Party thing with Nightmare.
Oh yes, yeah.
So, sorry, I was gonna say, do you guys have any quick questions you wanted to ask us?
What got you into animation?
What?
What got you into animation?
Basically, when I was a kid, I used to watch mostly Disney films and Looney Tunes and all that stuff, and I got really enjoyed watching them. And it wasn't until I watched South Park or Robot Chickens where I thought I should do my own stuff, see make my own little parodies and such. And I just get influenced by all those shows. What about you?
Oh my god, I'm very cringe a bit, but back in the days, I was still a kid. I didn't know a lot about animation, but the thing that was really popular back then was Beyblade. Yeah. So basically, the show was basically half of some anime and half of just some 3D tubs that just move. And I felt, well, it's kind of cool to see that. It's very simple to do, and I'm thinking, hey, could I do that too? So I just took whatever I had and just tried to do the same since it looked cool to me.
Oh, now you mention it. Anime is some of the best anime. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of anime, but let me just say that they have some of the best animation for hand-drawn wise, because just the amount of details put into that. Because I've been
It's striking.
Yeah, because I'm recently watching the Vista and Sailor Moon, and it just impresses me how much the animation that goes in that show.
But just thinking of the animators who worked for really hard, their animators, there was one of the animators, I don't remember the name, he was working mostly on Naruto. He died last week from overwork.
Everybody wants to be an animator now, right?
Any other questions?
Sorry, too far?
I was going to make a joke about that, but that would just be too far. Yeah, that's alright.
Oh, thank you.
You're forgiven for now. No, I'm kidding. JK.
You better watch your back.
Yeah. What made you want to pick toucan for your mascot?
Honestly, toucan's my favorite type of bird. Because when I was a kid, I used to own this toucan puppet that's literally in the shape of a watermelon, and I like to play that a lot when I was younger, and yeah, I just love the toucan, and ever since then, I'm just a fan of toucans.
And because he too can.
You?
Oh, you!
Oh my god.
Puns.
Well done.
So yeah, that's why the toucan comes from. And by the way, LDM is my full name, Logan Daniel Miller.
Follow your nose.
Wherever it goes.
I thought it was just because the tiki was or something. Maybe there's a toucan.
Oh, yeah, there's.
I'm curious as to why exactly he wants you to follow his nose.
Alright, any other quick questions? Awkward silence.
Who wants the copper chip and only copper chip video by ToucanLDM?
She wants it.
She wants it! Do you want the copper chip video by Who wants it? Say yes! Raise your hand! You raise your hand,
Can we
Dan.
fight over it?
Yeah, that works.
Now they're raising their hands.
You got a question?
Yeah. Yes. What do you feel about people who actually work in the industry, the stories that you get, that you've probably heard over the time with some of the animation movies of just being overworked with no
Sausage party?
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I'll just say that. No, seriously, it really ticks me off when I hear they got put under pressure just to get a movie done. And I understand they're on a tight budget, but still, not getting paid overtime, that's just stupid.
Not
Yeah,
turning people.
it's not just about the animation industry, but in the movie, when they produce movies, there's a lot of movies where they basically they just avoided paying a lot of people by claiming even though they make like $1 billion. And basically they just went away with that with some legal, they just basically took someone just to look at all the money that they had, just to put some loopholes, just to pretend that they didn't make enough money, just to give their profits back to the,
It's just sad that animators don't get a lot of credit. And we're out of time, so thank you all for joining us for this convention. Thank you. And I'm like TT's in consideration. Not maybe, but consideration.
Yeah, alright. That means yes, guys.